If you are here live, just drop a comment in the chat that says hi. If you are watching the replay, just put in hashtag replay so I can come and answer your questions and say hi to you as well. And if something I say that you think is really interesting or really like you want to remember that, then just type in hashtag nugget so that I can also know like what is interesting for you all. So today, let's dive in. Today, what I want to talk about is, without getting too cryptic, but this is like literally the main thing that I see people are struggling with that is stopping them from getting clients, making sales, growing their business. Now, I am a business marketing strategist, and I'm really here for people who have ambition, who have like a fire in their belly, a fire under their ass, and they want to move forward, get clients, want premium one-to-one clients or evergreen group coaching clients, both are fine, and grow in a way that feels really good, but they get to be helping people they love create an impact and create a positive change in the world. Now, so I do these things called game plan calls, yeah? So that you can book one as well. It's for free. It's really to help you analyze what's happening in the business. And I keep seeing this pattern over and over and over again. Someone comes to me, they book a call, and they say, okay, listen, Maggie, I'm not where I want to be with my business. Cool. Tell me more. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What is that gap? A lot of people say like, oh, I'm making like, 2K a month or 5K a month or 10K a month, whatever. And I want to be at 10K, 15K, 30K, and I'm not quite there. So there's a certain pattern I look for. I look at their numbers. Yeah. Not just revenue, but I look at the lead generation as well. So I'm looking at how many sales conversations have you had in the last month? And how many leads have you spoken to get those sales conversations happening? Now, what I see very often is the numbers for both things are quite low. So that means people are just not having enough sales related conversations. And then they're wondering why they're not getting to the revenue goals that they have. It's that simple. You're not speaking to enough people. So we need to look at two things. One, how many sales calls or conversations are on your calendar every week? Like if you want, just like basic, like super easy math, yeah? Let's say your goal is 10K a month. To get a 10K, you need to sell, let's say, 3 one-on-one clients, and they're all like 3.3K each, right? Which means that to have a 10K a month, you have to close 3 new clients. Great. Easy, right? But how do you close 3 new clients? Well, we take a step back. How many calls do you have to have in order to close 1 client? So let's say if you're like, ooh, I'm really uncomfortable around sales. Like sometimes it works. If they know me really well, I can close them. They already come on the call like knowing they want to work with me. If they don't, then I'm really struggling. So maybe I need 5 calls to close 1 client. Okay. So then in order to get 3 clients, you need how many calls? 15. So that's like very simple math. And it depends if you're better at sales or if you're better at, if your audience is warmer and they're coming on calls with you, already knowing more about why they want to work with you, those numbers will be different. And the thing is, and this is like what I want to talk about today, is there is an art to sales. I literally came off a sales call and the person was saying like, oh my gosh, like I love your, like people compliment me frequently on my sales process, which I think is really interesting. What would it feel like for you if people complimented you on your sales? Like people came on sales calls and complimented you on your sales process. And that's because I do something I call empathy-based sales. So at the end of the day, my goal is I want people on calls who I believe I can help, and then I want them to become clients and pay me, right? It's a sales call. But I'm also looking at a few things. So one of the first things I do with clients, with potential clients on a call, is I say this line. You can say this as well. I say, like, great that you're here. Let's dive in. Should I tell you how this works? Cool. So we're here today where I'll be asking a lot of questions about your business, where you are now, where you want to be, what that gap is, and if I can help you fill that gap. Here's like one of the kind of breadcrumbs of where empathy-based sales comes in. Then I say, if I don't believe I can help you, I will tell you. This is something I say on every single call, and I believe it, and I do it. I fairly frequently tell people, hey, I am not the right fit for you. Like I've had people, I obviously sell, obviously, I have a main program called Evergreen Empire, which is like a mastermind. It's really in depth. You get a lot of me, you get a lot of support, and it's been changing people's lives, which is amazing. but it's also not for everyone. And I'm quite clear with this. Like, I've had people coming on calls and telling me about how they are facing eviction next week. I'm like, dude, with like we should not be having this conversation right now. Like, this is not a good fit for you. Go sort out your stuff. Come back later. Like, here's a free resource. Go, come back. And I can do that within the first 10 minutes because I'm looking out for these almost like red flags, but like not in a bad way. Just I have like my list of green flags, my list of red flags. So green flags would be here's all the reasons, like all the flags that are positive, which makes me believe I can help someone get to their goals. And the red flags are not that they're a bad client, but ooh, I don't think I'm the right fit, or I don't think this is the best next step for this person. And then I just tell them. And there's a certain power that comes with being able to do that. I think a lot of people, when it comes to sales, they feel like, oh, I have to just really hardcore focus on how do I get the money in and like how do I convince the client to say yes as soon as possible. And that can be tricky. Okay, hi, someone said hi. I don't see your name. You have to let Restream I see hi in a heart, so I don't know who that is. But hi. So with empathy-based sales, I think what's really important is that you're also looking at how are you building connection before the sales call even happens. And you get all that in my empathy-based sales course, which is on sale today as part of the Summer of Sales bundle. And today's the last day you can grab that for $97 with like 20 other courses. So I really recommend getting that, like really, really, really. Oh, Samantha, hi. So empathy-based sales is a really big thing. The other thing I do that a lot of people don't do is I have a lot of touch points pre-sales process. So is it about the sales call to get the client? I mean, kind of, but not really. Like my sales process starts way before that. So every single step, if you had a sales call with me, you would have seen this. I literally said like people have like compliment me probably at least once a week on my sales process, which is crazy. Before they even book a call, the sales process starts. Like the way I have structured that setup is very, very specific because I want to pre-qualify people. I don't want to waste my time on calls. I don't want to waste their time. So when I have a sales call, I want to make sure that we have the highest chance possible of being a good fit and that they already are coming in believing I can help them. So I do things like I sent out Evergreen Empire material before that. If you don't have that yet, just let me know and I'll send you a link. You can have a look at yourself. I have this like beautiful brochure. I have like testimonials. I have screenshots and case studies. I have a manifesto. I've got a journey map. So they get that before they have the call, right? I have like 2 other main things that I do that add extra touch points that build trust and connection before the call even happens, right? Like we've talked a lot in the past few months about how the online industry has been changing, how it's been shifting, what's working, what's not. And ultimately it comes down to human connection, and people will buy from you if they believe that what you have can solve their problem or can help them get to where they want to go. It's like that simple. But now, because the automated webinars where people will like throw 3K at you for some kind of crappy course that you did no longer works like it did 5 years ago, we actually have to put in effort now and actually be human and be genuine and like actually focus on how can I understand this person so I know how I can best serve them. And most people don't do that. They do like clarity calls or discovery calls, which is basically where they don't have a structure. They're not using a script. They're hoping that people will just come there, love them, see the value, and buy from them. And this works up to a point. So it works if you have a very warm audience, and it kind of, you might think it's working when it's even not actually working, but you think it's working when you have a high close rate. Because what happens a lot, and this is where a lot of people end up getting stuck at like 5K a month or below, is that because they're good at content, they're good at like, they do some lives, they kind of warm people up. The people who will end up booking sales calls with them are very warm. So they're basically already bought into you in the program before they got on the call, which means you're like, oh, I don't need help with sales because I have a high close rate. I'm like, yeah, but you're closing like 1 client a month. And you want to get to like 10, 15, 20K a month, which means, guess what? We have to have a lot more sales conversations and a lot more lead generation for you to hit those numbers. Like, just do the math. Do the math. Like, price of your program, how much money do you want to make? Therefore, how many sales do you have to make next month? Let's say August. Great. What's your close rate? If I give you 10 calls on your calendar this week, how many of them are going to become clients? Give an estimate of a close rate, and then multiply that number by the number of sales you need to make. And that's how you know how many sales calls and conversations you actually need to have. And a lot of people don't do this. So getting good at sales in a way that's genuine, that's human, that puts your client first is the best skill set you can hone by far. So get empathy-based sales. Today's the last day to get at this price. And you get the bundle and everything else with it as well. And what you get from me, at least, is you get my full sales script. Like, this might surprise you, but I use a sales script, my sales script, on every single call I am. Like, I have it open. It gives me structure. It allows my ADHD brain to not go off in a million directions, but like to follow a structure and a process. And I have certain questions that I know like I have to ask. And it's happened to me that I literally didn't ask one question, and that's what ended up basically probably not getting me the client that I could have helped, because it's like one thing that I forgot to ask us. You get my script, my process. That script has helped me close $700,000 in sales in the last year and a half, as a rough number estimate. One of my clients, Goldche, said that the stuff that she learned from me and Michael, who helped me put together empathy-based sales, my husband, who's a sales director, that's helped her close easily at least $100,000 easily. I've got a comment here. Those processes are the hardest part for me. Getting anything on paper makes me squirm. That's what I'm working on, because you are correct, Lil. Yes, well, get my freaking bundle. Get the course. The course is $500. Currently, you get that plus other courses for $97. Today's the last day, so go get it, because from tomorrow it's going to be like a lot more. Which is good, because it's something that I teach a lot, like high ticket sales, empathy-based sales. And it's kind of bothered me that only the people who have access to the information are my clients, which I don't think is okay. And I think there's a process you can have in place. So how I approach sales is I do a combination of automation and deep human touch points. So everything possible that can be automated is automated, but I'm also looking at how can I add deep human touch points to really build up that know, like, trust factor, that connection before the call even happens. So I know I've been talking about sales calls, but it's not actually just about what you say on the call. It's all the stuff around it, especially the stuff before the call, that needs to happen to give you the highest chance of success to close those clients. So any questions while you're here around sales or empathy-based sales or my process or anything like that? I can still quickly answer that. But I feel like a lot of people struggle with sales. I think a lot of people don't realize they struggle with sales. So I just had a call basically with someone who was saying like, oh, I know it's because my business model is wrong and I'm currently selling one-to-one and I need to move towards like a one-to-many, evergreen group program. And I was like, no, because currently you're not closing your leads. So it's not a offer problem. It's a sales problem, because you're getting leads. You have like a list of 20 people who are interested in working with you. You've not closed them. So that's not on it being the wrong product, because I think personally, I think it's easier to close for one-to-one than it is for one-to-many. Because for one-to-one, it's like, oh, Maggie, what do you want? I'll be like, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Can you work on that? Yeah, we can. It's a one-to-one. So it's the same structure and it's customized to my goals. So if you can't sell one-to-one, you can't sell one-to-many. Because if you can't sell one-to-one, something is off around your sales process, and that's going to be magnified and amplified when you start selling one-to-many. So people kind of get this wrong, because they go, oh, I made 15 sales of this thing that was one-to-many, therefore I need to sell one-to-many. I'm like, no, it's because that one-to-many offer was like literally 10% of the cost of your one-to-one package. That's why you got those sales, because people were like, oh, it's cheaper, I'll just go buy it then. It was no-brainer price, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Does that make sense? So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have more questions while you're watching this, then let me know. If you want to have a chat and want me to look at your business and give you some tips and suggestions on what I think you should shift and change so you're getting to 10, 20, 30K a month, go book a call, maggiegill.com/game-plan, or DM me. I'll send you the link directly. And we can go from there, because honestly, I think if you're watching this, then you are too good doing at what you do to be where you are, and I want to help you move further. And go get the bundle. It's the last day. You're not gonna regret it. Take care. Bye.